Welcome to this edition of Cigar Chat. In this edition, I wanted to go ahead and do a video on Desi Arnaz. Most of you guys might recognize him as Ricky Ricardo from I Love Lucy. His real name, of course, was Desi Arnaz, and he was a proud Cuban. It's something that's pretty passionate for a lot of us, for a lot of us Cuban Americans, because in my household, of course, just like many people, Americans and everybody, grew up watching I Love Lucy. But the funny thing is, like for me in particular, and for a lot of other Cubans, when we would watch I Love Lucy, it had a special significance because, he would go off and talk in Spanish and, crack jokes at Lucy and say, "Esta mujer está loca," and all this crazy stuff in Spanish. And for me, it was always funny because I understood everything, his Cubanisms and the way he would say stuff. So, of course, Lucy was a huge star. There's no question about it. But to most Cubans, Desi was really the star for us, But anyway, I went ahead and compiled a lot of footage and a lot of videos and stuff of him and some interviews and stuff, and I think it's pretty interesting. And you guys are going to hopefully enjoy it. But anyway, he was a very interesting guy. He came here to Hollywood. He worked his way up. He was the son of a famous, of a prominent mayor of his town of Santiago de Cuba. Pretty wealthy family. And during the Machado years, which was back in 1933, the family had to come to Miami. They were exiled. And he started out with nothing. They came here with nothing, and he became pretty much one of Hollywood's leading men. And, Desilu Studios, which is where, of course, I Love Lucy was recorded, was the biggest studio in its time. And there's a lot of innovations and stuff that he did. But needless to say, he did pave the way for a lot of other Latin American actors and Latin Americans in Hollywood. So, of course, kudos to him. And in my house, my dad always enjoyed watching the shows with me. And, he would always tell me, what a great Cuban Desi Arnaz was. And, I've always had a very big admiration for Desi. So, Desi, rest in peace. And I hope you guys enjoy the show. Thank you.
Desi's family was a very influential family in the province of Cuba that they came from. They were landowners, they were professionals, and his father was the mayor of Santiago. The Cuba that Desi Arnaz grew up in is the Cuba before the revolution. However, it's not the revolution that most people think of. This is the revolution of 1933. There was all kinds of civil disturbances all over the country. Places were pillaged, people killed. Their own house was burned down in Santiago, and that's why Desi's family had to leave. So he had to go all the way to the depths in order to climb all the way to the heights.
The tragedy of exile is exile. What you really want to be free is at home. But home is no longer free, so you'll always have that sort of hole in your heart.
Desi never really left Cuba. He brought Cuba with him to America.
Desi probably helped American audiences and Anglo audiences to start getting into those rhythms in a very nice way. He did more for Spanish people than many people here in America may think.
We owe him a lot of things. As a Latino, as a musician, as an artist, as a Cuban, we're very proud of him.
We came to this country and we didn't have a cent in our pockets. From cleaning canary cages to this night here in New York, it's a long ways. And I don't think there's any other country in the world that could give you that opportunity. I want to say thank you, America, thank you.
I remember speaking to the late, great Tito Puente, who said that there are two periods in Latino music. There was before Desi and after Desi.
Negro, pa' que no se muera. ¡Ea! ¡Caballo! Yes, sir, I'm QP. I'm the craze of my native street. When I start to dance, everything goes chick, chicky, boom, chick, chicky. The senoritas, they sing and how they swing with this rumbero. It's very nice, so full of spice. And when they're dancing, they bring a happy ring, a very carol, singing a song all the day long. So if you like the beat, take a lesson from Cuban Pete, and I'll teach you to chick, chicky, boom, chick, chicky, boom, chick, chicky. See, señorita, I know that you will like the chicky, boom, chick, 'cause it's the dance of Latin romance, and Cuban Pete doesn't teach you in a hurry like Castle Mary. I come from Havana, and there's always mañana. So, señorita, oh no.
They call me Sally Sweet. I'm the queen of Delancey Street. When I start to dance, everything goes chick, chicky, boom, chick, chicky, boom.
Ay, 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 ay.
Excuse me, Mr. Pete.
Yes, ma'am.
Have the Cubans a different beat? If they have, will you teach me to chick, chick, chicky, boom, chick, chicky, boom?
Si, señorita, I know that you will like the chicky, boom, chick.
Yeah, man.
It's very nice, so full of spice. I place my hand on your hip, and if you will just give me your hand, then we shall try, just you and I.
Desi, tell us about this jacket that you're wearing. It's very attractive.
Somebody gave me this last time I was here. You know, when I wrote a book, which was called a book. And, you know, every time you write a book now, you got to go around and hustle it, you know. So the last time I was here, I was hustling the book. I ain't got nothing particular to hustle on except the Carnival.
Which is a big event, and all of Miami is looking forward to. You're like a native son to us down here. You're telling us you went to high school, graduated high school.
Oh, hell yes.
What year was that, and what school were you?
Well, I got here. You know, my dad was mayor of my hometown in Cuba. And he was a congressman. And a very wealthy man. He had a few farms. We raised cattle. He was first guy introduced pasteurized milk in Cuba. And then the revolution came, the Machado thing in 1933. And 48 hours, he lost everything he had. Everything.
So you're the first flight of Cuban refugees?
Well, when we got here, then he was in jail 6 months. They put all the congressmen in jail, all the representatives, all the senators, all the mayors, all the governors. Everybody was in the can. And he was there for 6 months. Then when he got out, he came here first, and then he sent for me a few months later. And you know, a strange thing, though, Churchill, that's the time you find who your friends are. Of all those people used to come to the house, you know, for dinner and big parties. My dad was a big shot. I tried to get some money to get here, you know, just for the passage, which wasn't that expensive those days, you know. None of them big shots. My father's secretary found loaned me money.
When you least expect, right?
That's when you find who the friends are. So then I graduated from high school in St. Pat's in '37. See, I couldn't go to school because I didn't have any money to pay for the tuition. I worked as a bus boy, I worked as a taxi driver, as a truck driver. Oh, the first job I had was a beauty.
So when did anybody speak Spanish when you came to Miami at that time?
Very few. You know, I couldn't speak English, so I was going around, you know, see if I could find a restaurant that says, se habla español, you know. And after quite a long walk around the southwest area, you know, where the Havana is there, I found one place that se habla español. Now, the day before yesterday, we what do you call it, toured that whole area, and I think I saw one place that's English spoken. Complete but I'm so goddamn proud of Cubans here, you know.
What's your feeling on Miami here with the Cuban influence?
I think they've done a wonderful job. You know, they're hard-working people, and they're fun-loving, hard-working. You know, last time I was here, the mayor was kind enough to ask me lunch or whatever. And I said, well, what do you think of my Cuban compatriotas, compatriots, you know? He said, if they left Miami, we all go broke. He said, they done more for the economy of the town and everything, you know, so I'm very proud of them. And one of the things that we hope to do in the Carnival, first of all, is the most fun I ever had in my life. I remember when I was a kid, I never missed that, you know, 3-4 days all week, you know, everybody dancing, and the beautiful gauze and costumes and music. Yeah, they're like the Mardi Gras, you know, yeah. They had it in Havana, they had it in my hometown, and we haven't had it since pre-Castro days, you know. So we're going to hope to make it as good as it was.
What kind of a role are you playing in the planning and the organization of this? Tell us about that.
You want to bow now or later? I am the king of the carnival. Want to kiss my hand or later?
My first guest tonight is an actor, a musician, a producer, director and author, and to millions of television viewers, however, he will always be known as Ricky Ricardo. More than a pleasure now to welcome Mr. Desi Arnaz. Very nice to see you.
Thank you, Cuban Pete, huh? Thank you, David.
Thanks for being on the show. What is now this reaction? You must get this wherever you go. People like you, they love you, they've seen you on television for a long, long time. It must be very gratifying.
We love them too.
Yeah. Did you, at any point in the project, realize what you were getting into? That this thing was going to be?
No, that's kind of one of those things, you know, that if you're lucky enough, maybe They say once in a lifetime deal, you know. No, we wanted to work together. And Lucy was doing a radio show called My Favorite Husband. And then CBS wanted her to...
Was the radio show version as popular as the TV show turned out to be?
It was a
later?
very popular radio show, yeah. She was on for about 3 years. And then they wanted her to transfer to television. And we wanted to work together.
Yeah.
So she says, I want Desi to play the husband. Well, the husband in the radio show was Richard Denning, the guy that played the governor in Hawaii Five-0, you know. Well, he's a tall, blonde, blue-eyed vice president of a bank or something. I said, I'll never be able to get away with that part, you know. So the same writers that were doing My Favorite Husband, Jess Oppenheimer and Bob Carroll Jr. and Madeline Davis, they're now doing Alice, Bob and Madeline and I. They, you know, kind of came up and me with the music and the orchestra leader, and then nobody wanted me to play Ricky.
By nobody, you mean the heads of the network, I would guess?
The network, the sponsors, nobody. You
Yeah.
know, they said, who the hell is going to believe this Babalu fellow is going to be married to this typical American girl, you know?
Yeah.
Funniest part of it is that we had been married for 10 years right then, you know.
So how was this thing finally resolved? How did you bump Mr. Denning out of the picture?
Well, you know, George M. Cohan always said that those people out there, the audience, they tell you what's good and what isn't, you know. So I told Lucy, I said, maybe they're right. Maybe nobody will believe you and I working together, you know. So in those days, I had the big band, you know, and then we used to do vaudeville, play the Paramount Theater and the Roxy. That's not there anymore. So I said, well, the next time that I go on tour, why don't you come with me, you know? And we'll do a couple of numbers together and see what the audience thinks of us working together. So we worked the Roxy here in New York when we're still there. Radio City, Minneapolis, that's not there anymore. Chicago Theater. We picked about 5 or 6, you know, cross-country places. And the audience were wonderful. And Mr. Paley, which is the head of CBS at the time, chairman of the board, he saw us on the stage. I said, well, the audience seems to like them together, and they have been married for 10 years, or maybe they'll believe that they're husband.
At the time...
They don't give you enough credit, ever.
At the time, though, I guess a more exotic coupling you couldn't come up with. It seemed a guy from Cuba and then the all-American
And then the
redhead.
people that work with us, you know, Fred and Ethel, they were just sensational, you know.
Right. In the television program, you and Lucy slept in separate beds. Now, there were some other things that they wouldn't let you do, and when we come back after the commercial, I want to talk about other things that you couldn't do on television. We'll be right back with that. Thank you very much, Paul. Desi Arnaz is here. We talked about you couldn't sleep in the same bed. What other kinds of things, compromises did you have to make?
Well, you know, when she was going to have the baby, I told the head writer at the time was Jess Oppenheimer, and I said, Lucy's going to have a baby. She says, what are we going to do? I said, what do you mean what are we going to do? She's going to have a baby. That's what we're going to do. She already had my daughter, Lucy. And they won't let us do the thing. You know, you couldn't even say the word pregnant in those days.
Right.
They say I had to say expecting.
So that...
It was better for me to use expecting anyway.
Yeah. It still is.
Could never get her off with pregnant. No. Finally, the head of Philip Morris was a wonderful old guy called Alfred Lyons. He wrote him a note saying, don't fool around with the Cuban. I cleaned it up a little.
Yeah. And that was one of the most successful shows of the whole run, wasn't it?
Could you believe they won't let us do it? They said, well, can you hide her, you know, behind high chairs or sitting down on a table? I says, not Lucy. When she gets pregnant, brother, there's no question about it. She wobbles around like a big elephant. There's no way. No way to hide her for 6 months, you know. So, Now he's making a picture. My daughter is doing a show for HBO, and she's going on the road with her husband, Larry Luckenbill, and I do. I'm the only bum in the family. I'm the only one that's not working.
Now, in addition to being on the television program, which is just legendary, you were responsible for other firsts. You developed the first way to syndicate off-network television shows, which this one.
Well, one of the only ones that did it in front of an audience.
In front of an audience?
With multiple cameras. Sometimes you use 4 cameras, like you use 3 here.
They had been doing them live, hadn't they? You were doing it on film?
We always did it on film, but in front of an audience.
Right.
We never used canned laughter.
Yeah.
That's when some of our laughter I hear in some other shows.
Now, is that true? I've heard that rumor before, that the audience sounds from your program is still
Well,
used.
you know, you worked in front of an audience for most of your life. And, you know, sometimes you get the regulars and you can detect the same laughter.
Right.
But Lucille's mother, you couldn't miss her laugh, Dee Dee. And my assistant director, Jim Paisley, and, you know, he was close like around here, you know, so not only did the audience microphone picked up his laugh, but our dialogue mic picked up his laugh. So we had the dialogue, the laughter, the music, the applause, everything on the same track, with all 4 cameras coordinating one soundtrack. You know, the first time anybody done that, and that's what made Desilu a big success.
Yeah, but you now have heard those laughs from many, many years back on new shows.
On other shows, yeah. They lift them up.
You're gonna sing for us tonight, I hope.
Yeah.
Is that right? All right.
Anyway, this is a song about
about Cuba,
my country.
All right. We'll look forward to that.
Shall I go ahead and do it?
Please do, Mr. Desi Arnaz, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, Marco, give me a little bump in there. Not so far from here, there's a very lively atmosphere. Everybody's going there this year, so come along. I'm on my way to Cuba, that's where I'm going. Cuba, that's where I'll stay. Cuba, where wine is flowing, and where dark eyes tell us lie there, fellas, panatellas. Cuba, where all is happy. Cuba, where all is gay. Why don't you plan a wonderful trip to Havana? Hop on a ship and I'll see you in CUBA. Why don't you plan a wonderful trip to Havana? Hop on a ship and I'll see ya in CUBA. Hey ya! There you go. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank Paul and Marco and David for letting me sing the song. And I want to thank Irving Berlin for writing that song over my country. And even though we're a little late, we wish him from every heart of every Cuban a very happy birthday. And we hope that soon again we can all shout with joy. Marco. Why don't you plan a wonderful trip to Havana? Hop on a ship and I'll see ya in CUBA. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Desi. It's a pleasure meeting you. Very nice, sir. Desi Arnaz, ladies and gentlemen.
hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Till next time.